It won't be ready in time, sir.
Refueling complete. Royal Atlan online.
Alright, hey guys, so welcome to my overall review for Doom the Dark Ages. Sorry, I've been coughing a lot after having recorded all of this. So in this entire recording is going to be the last two missions or chapters of the entire game, Final Battle and The Reckoning. So I will also mention kind of a little further into near the end of the Final Battle mission, like during cutscenes and stuff, you will see me shirtless because when I was recording it, I forgot what my keybinds were to screenshot, so I was just pressing random keybinds. So sorry about that. I'm not gonna try and edit it out because there's no point. It's me fucking up, and I'd rather keep that in. Now, what I will say is overall. The overall rating that I would give Doom the Dark Ages is a good 9 out of 10. There were just a few things with if you see in this part right now where I am fighting a bunch of enemies, even in Hurt Me Plenty, the normal mode difficulty, I would say it's normal mode. It is annoying to have to deal with multiple enemies and just like parrying and dodging and all that. It's very annoying. It's not hard to get used to, but when you're hyper focused on just one enemy and having fun just wailing on them, you tend to forget. You tend to forget, oh yeah, I need to also be focusing on other enemies too. So that's one thing where it's my fault. And also button prompts. Another thing is with button prompts. I see right here, B to use. I liked where in Doom Eternal, it was right stick. It was your melee to use, from what I can remember. But outside of that, enemy designs, level designs, looking for, going out and journeying around to look for all of the secrets and unlockables and stuff like that. And also even spending time, as you can see, during this entire mission, and also one of the previous missions, I was working on the Mastery skin for one of the weapons. I have most of them unlocked right now. I need 3 or 4 more. Well, 4 to 5 more to work on in total, I think, and then I'll get that achievement at some point. It's just exploring and seeing everything after getting done, fighting all the enemies, trying to look for all the secrets, just to really just do achievement hunt, because I want to do that for this game, has been enjoyable. And people I'm gonna say DSP are fucking morons for not for just stop and pause and look and all this stuff, and it makes sense why they are shit at the game. I am not good at games like this, and I had a fucking blast. I will admit, I've only played Doom Eternal before this. I really do need to play the original Doom games up to Doom 2016. I still need to finish Doom Eternal. I restarted it and I never actually finished it. I need to finish it, and I also need to play finish up the DLC too, because I started that. and then just never finished it because I'm an idiot. Now, I think another low light for me is the dragon. A very cool design, very interesting idea. Just it could have been better executed. The combat could have been a lot better. Now, oh, I just realized I did not realize that Titan's head got all glitched out. I'm sorry. I'm watching this as I'm saying this. All this stuff I'm watching back up until the next, like, the cutscene starts for the first boss fight with Prince Arc. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. With the Prince, the first boss fight with him. Dragon. Sir, I can't remember its name. Oh my god, I'm such a piece of shit. I can't remember the dragon's name. But the design is amazing, but the combat with it is not all that great. It's kind of disappointing. It could have been executed a lot better in my opinion. Like having the it's basically QTE, quick time events. That's what it is. Having those be a little bit more cinematic would have made it feel a lot better than it actually was. But that's kind of neither here nor there. Overall, just flying around with the dragon was god damn it. I'm fucking coughing since like yesterday. Jesus Christ, I hate this. I'm not cutting any of this out. It's all gonna stay in here because I'd rather just get this out of the way and have this saved up for probably this following Thursday. Yep. I have enjoyed the game, and I'm planning on playing it in my free time to get all of like the base game stuff, just because it is so much fun. I'm gonna go back in this save file where I've played the game entirely to collect everything. Basically, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna spend time doing. Get all the stuff, max everything out, and I know there's not a new game plus option. There was, where you could keep I think, is there? I haven't even checked. I should probably do that. But I love this game. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad I took the time to actually like play it in my free time and record some stuff, like all of this right here. I know I'm cutting into a mid-level cutscene, but that's entirely fine. It again is a mid-level cutscene where I have a secondary boss fight going on with an old one of the old gods. I don't has enough. Nanthulu is actually its name. It might be the old one that we kill in like 2 missions prior to this, but this was a fun boss fight. I will say that the stuff with the Titans was a lot of fun. Again, basically QTE, but you get to move around a lot more. The trying out all the different weapons and being able to actually much more easily switch between them, at least button prompt wise, was a lot more fun than compared to Eternal. Now, there are a handful of enemies that just were frustrating to deal with, and using the super shotgun against them was great. Further into this, you'll see those enemies. I think they're called the Wraiths. Yeah, they think they're the Wraiths. They're the most annoying enemies to deal with as you get further into the game, because they create a shield around themselves, and then they create duplicate that you have, a ghost-like duplicate that you have to then fight. That enemy is super annoying. All the other enemies are great. I've only been playing on Hurt Me Plenty. I only died a total of 4 times. And I never used any of my lives. I just started from a new checkpoint, because if I'm going to use lives, it's going to be on a higher difficulty than what I was actually playing. I can see where people can get stuck at, because there were a few, I can't think. There were a few puzzles where I was just, like, confused. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing? And then I realized what I'm supposed to be doing, and then I get it. But outside of that, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? the characters, the secondary characters to the Doomslayer, the prince, Arrakis, is that his fucking name? Hang on. I'm about to see what it is. Also, I got the mastery completion for the super shotgun. That was the second one I completed. Of course it was. What is his name? Our main villain, of course. Yeah, Prince Azrek. God, I'm a fucking idiot. Fucking amazing villain. Very... much more battle intelligent compared to... Fuck, I can't remember the villain's name from Eternal. A much better villain intelligence-wise compared to the villain of Eternal. So, that's all I can say there. And then King Novik and Commander Theris. Fuck, I forgot her name. Thera. Amazing characters. Creed Maker. He was a weak secondary villain, because that's all I can really say. Like, yes, he ends up being a villain because that's what the Makers are. In Eternal, we can kind of see the divide between shit, I forgot the I'm not very good with remembering information about games. With King Novik's people and the Makers, where that divide started happening, and it was with Prince Azrek basically convincing Creed Maker to join his side. And of course, in the mission before this is when you kill Creed Maker. And that boss fight was fun. It was a little annoying to deal with at first, but it was a lot of fun. The kind of triple phase with the enhanced Azrek fight, that was great for getting this mastery skin for the energy weapon, the base energy weapon. The melee weapons were a lot of fun to use. The fist, the flail, and then the fucking mace. But the mace, of course, is the fucking best overall. And like the... Fuck me, I can't remember. The runes that you get in your shield were a lot of fun. The main one that I ended up fully maxing out and using was the autocannon one, or whatever it's called. I can't fucking remember. I'm doing this just off of memory and not having a script because I'm just an idiot and I know I should have a script. But just overall, I've had such a great time with a great time with the game, and I'm excited to see where this part of the Slayer's story goes. And it is Jesus Christ. And it has been a blast to just really, I spent 14 hours, almost 15 hours in total, like, to complete the game. 22 chapters, 15 hours to complete. I thought it was actually going to take me 22 hours to complete the game. It didn't take me that long, which I'm happy about. But I am looking forward to seeing where this part of the Slayer story goes, like where it goes from here. How much of this universe's story we'll learn about, and also the mission where he comes back from the fucking dead as he comes back as a zombie and then he gets resurrected was fucking awesome. Overall, again, the rating that I would, like, the numerical rating that I would give this, I go from, like most people, I would go from as a 1 to 10. I give this a 9 out of 10. Again, just some things were kind of disappointing. The dragon stuff, just how, like, all the dragon fighting, that just wasn't all that great. Certain enemies just being very, very tedious and annoying. And another thing I'll add is what the fuck, I can't remember. There was something else I wanted to add that just wasn't all that great to me, and very much disappointed me overall. God, I really can't remember. But again, that's the rating I I give this a 9 out of 10. This is something I will go back and play in the future. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this 14.5 minute review, basically. And, well, we'll continue to watch this. And upcoming is where you see me without my shirt on. So, hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the video.
Azric's life signal is still active. It is transmitting now from the Hell Dimension.
Vera. Are you all right?
I am.
Lead Azra to the Slayer.
Draw the horde to us!
As much time as you can.
Approaching Azric's hangar.
Players getting close! ship is taking off.
Locking on Azric's signal now.
He's on board. We hold our ground until he finishes this.
Kill him. Avenge your god. I've lost your edge, heretic. Kill him. Avenge your god. on the Horde. Kill me, and this war will never end.
Any word?
No one has seen him since the assault.
We are much better off with him on his own. And you, young Sentinel. Your father tells me great things about you.
Thank you, sir. The Maker's Church has disavowed all actions taken by the Creed. They give their word he was acting alone, and they'll bring justice to anyone that collaborated with him.
We'll move forward with our own Inquisition, quietly.
It is time to look forward. We will always be a people of faith. But we must consider now who we will put that faith in. And I say to you, there is no better place to turn to than ourselves. This is our home, and we will stand together to the last sentinel to defend it. As we have before, as our ancestors did, as we always will. And lastly, I'll ask you to join me now in paying our respect to him. The people of Argent D'Nur rest easier now, knowing he is out there.